Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're taking yet another look at the current graphics card prices as the cryptocurrency market has started to recover a little bit. Many of you may be curious just what GPU prices are doing and if right now is the time to buy. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the prices right now. So leading off, one of our good buys that are available right now, at least as of the filming of this video, is this Gigabyte GT 1030. Now most 1030s are still considerably more expensive than this one, but this is just $75. And if you're somebody that plays low demanding games and just at 1080p, you're not really looking at 1440p, and you're happy with just playing your select few games that are probably more esports geared than your AAA large single player open world games, the GT 1030 is a great option for you. Right now it's $75, and as you can sort of see on the price chart here, it was $95 just 6 days ago, and has been dropping, and then on about the 23rd, it took a big drop down to its current $75 price point. So if you're in the market for a GT 1030, then it may be the time to pick one up. However, this is important to know. This is the GT 1030 with DDR4 RAM, so it will not be quite as fast as the original GT 1030, which is something that I strongly disagree with Nvidia's sort of naming convention there. And this price drop may actually coincide with the switch over to DDR4. But again, it will still give you good performance in some of those lower end games or those esports titles. So if you're playing just those games, it's not something to worry too much about. You're still going to get 60 plus frames per second and things like, CSGO, League of Legends, probably Overwatch at 1080, depending on your settings and all that. But it is something to be aware of. If you're looking for the original GT 1030, this is not that card. So moving on up the ladder of the Nvidia cards is actually this GTX 1050. It's one of the cheapest ones I could find available as of the filming of this, and it's actually not a card I'm recommending you buy. This is more just to give you a feel for the market, and the reason I'm not recommending this card is because it MSRPs for $110. At least the original MSRP was $110, and it's just not worth the performance. I would strongly recommend waiting. If you can make do with something else in the meantime while you wait, then I would. It's a really good 1080p card. It's just overpriced right now, and I just really don't recommend paying that much of a price premium on what should be a $110 card. And moving on up the ladder, again, we have the Asus GTX 1050 Ti. And again, this card is a little bit spicy for my taste. It's going for $200 right now. And the original MSRP on these was $140. So again, a little bit too much of a price premium. I've seen in recent days these GTX 1050 Ti's go for as low as about $170. So if you can wait and just sort of keep an eye on the deals for the 1050 Ti's, that's what I would recommend doing because you can save yourself a significant chunk of money that way. As we continue to move up the stack, this is actually where we get into some decent deals, sort of in the mid-range and even in the 1080s case, the upper range. Right here we have a 3GB GTX 1060, and these cards originally retailed for $200, but $250 considering the GPU market is not that big of a price premium to actually be paying for these. Obviously, this is a single fan design, so heat will be a little bit more of an issue. And also we have this 2-fan design also from Gigabyte for $260, as well as a PNY version. All of these cards are the 3GB variants, so they are anywhere from $50 to $60, still over the original MSRP, but again, considering the market, that's not the craziest thing. And then one of the better deals actually that I found overall is this GTX 1060. This is an EVGA single fan design. This is a 6GB card though, going for $290, which is just a $40 price premium over the original MSRP. And I know some of you are sort of groaning that you're still paying, $40 over the original MSRP. But again, considering the market, that's not that bad at all. If you require a little bit more power, then you can move up to the GTX 1070. Now, this mini version is gonna fight heat a little bit more than most variants, but it is only $470 right now. So that could be an option for you as well. Or you can pay a little bit more money and get this EVGA variant, the 1070 SC Gaming. And this is an extremely awesome card. I actually have one of these cards, and I do highly recommend it for not just overclocking, but it's just generally quiet. I have nothing but good things to say about it, and EVGA support has always been top notch, at least in my experience. So if you're willing to pay $500 for a 1070, this actually may be your best bet. Moving on up to the 1070 Ti, and if you're willing to pay $500 for a 1070, you probably should just go ahead and scrape together another $10 for the 1070 Ti. This is a triple fan design, so if you pick this card up, obviously you need to have plenty of room in your case to actually house this card, but overall not a bad deal for a 1070 Ti. And now we come to what is technically the best deal of the day, and that's the GTX 1080 here. And this is an SC gaming card. Again, I've not worked with a 1080 SC gaming, but I assume it's much like the 1070 in this regard, but it's $600, and that's right out the original MSRP for a 1080. Now, of course, it's disappointing that over a 2-year span, the 1080s have not gone down in pricing at all, but on the other hand, this is one of the very few cards you can get at the original MSRP, and if you have $600 scraped together, hey, this may actually be the card for you. And you'll notice that I don't actually have any 1080 Ti's listed out here, and that's just because right now they're still way overpriced. But if you're curious, it looks like most of them are going between $900 and $1,000. So if you have that much money scraped together and you really just want a 1080 Ti, then hey, go for it. Now, moving on to the AMD side of things, and this is the only card that I actually found that I felt was even worth mentioning because of prices just being way too high across the board for the AMD cards compared to their Nvidia counterparts. We do have this RX 580. This is a 4GB variant. This is an Armor edition from MSI. And I will just go ahead and throw out there, in the past, some of the Armor cards have been reviewed very poorly for their thermals, so double check on this particular variant to see how its thermals are, because it may run quite hot. But it is running right now, and this is a pre-order for $230, which is a really good deal compared to the GTX 1060 counterparts, because the RX 580 4GB will typically outperform a 3GB 1060, at least in most games. So if you are not really dedicated to Nvidia and you have somewhere in this neighborhood of money just laying around for a graphics card, this would probably be a slightly better deal than those 1060s, especially the 3GB variants. So many of you may be wondering right now if it's actually time to buy with the prices the way they are, and I actually kind of think now is a good time for you to buy a graphics card. The reason for that is Ethereum right now is about $688 and has been steadily increasing over the past week or two. And with the upcoming 11 series from Nvidia, many of you will be pointing to that as a reason to just hold out for that 11 series. The problem is, if Ethereum continues to make gains and the 11 series graphics cards are very efficient miners, then those cards are going to be snapped up extremely quickly. And again, if Ethereum continues to climb back towards the $1,000 point, we're going to start seeing these cards go out of stock again, pretty much across the board here. So in my mind, while prices are close to reasonable, or in some cases very reasonable, like the GTX 1080s right now, then it's actually a good time to go ahead and get your card if you have the money for it. Sure, you can't predict the future, and you may be kicking yourself a little bit if you go ahead and buy now and prices continue to drop a little bit, but I think that you're really going to be kicking yourself if you wait a month and all the cards are out of stock yet again, and then you can't even get your PC built. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments down below. If you like this content, give it a like, share, subscribe, and comment also down below. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware, and as always, I'll let YouTube queue up a few more videos around me from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.